Welcome back to another episode of Open Field. I'm here with the usual suspects, Random, Grant, Shonen. Obviously, the link is out. Let me put that in the chat. You feel me? If somebody wants to come and speak their piece, we haven't seen Meek in a long time. I wonder why he's disappeared. Word on the street is because he's pulling a Brian Griffin. But we don't know that we don't know that for sure. Shout out to our GOAT members, Cobra Son of Raditz, Omatosa Clutch, and Avion.
Brian Griffin is crazy.
Brian Griffin, I heard. So they're not really rocking with that boy. So hopefully Meek will show up. But the link is in here. If you got something you want to get off, an agenda you want to get off, we got about an hour. Make sure y'all stick around because in the second hour, about the 5 p.m. Eastern mark, I will be up here. We're going to turn the banner to By Any Means, and we'll be interviewing University of Connecticut quarterback Taquan Roberson and University of Connecticut tight end Justin Joly. So make sure y'all stay in the mix for that on the second half of the show. But first things first, fellas, let's get into the first conversation because I thought this was really interesting. I've said a lot of high praise about this quarterback. Obviously, he's been the consensus number one. But when this story dropped, it's like, maybe there needs to be a little bit of a halt or just more of a dialogue. Caleb Williams' team pretty much came out and stated that whatever team decides to draft Caleb Williams with the first overall pick in the draft, he wants to have a minority owner stake within that team. I don't want to say if I know how 100% true that is. Caleb has not addressed it in the media or at a podium. But my question to you guys is, what are your thoughts on this? And do you think this is a bad move by Caleb and his team? Nick, you go first. You're shaking your head.
Yeah, bro. If it is true, like you said, nothing's confirmed. But if it is true, like, what are you doing, bro? Acting like a total diva at that point. Like, who do you think you are? Real talk. Like, honestly, let's just be honest. Who do you think you are? Let's just call it as it is. Great talent, could be generational talent, but hey, he looked pretty. I watched that Notre Dame game, bro. Mm-hmm. He ain't looked that good, man.
Especially for that to come out right after that.
Yeah, that was his first real bad one.
Yeah, so, but it's just like, do I think the talent's there? Sure, absolutely. But for you to, allegedly say that you want to mine it before you even step on an NFL field, that's a little bit of a reach, in my opinion.
Yeah, if for me, because I've said something before, and the worry's still there. Is like now with and this is not a shot against the NIL, but now with the NIL and being able to get paid, there's obviously a certain level of kind of like, I'm going to say a certain level of entitlement because you're kind of getting paid. You're that guy already before you enter the NFL, and yeah, everybody still wants to be in the NFL. You still get paid more when you go in the NFL. And Caleb Williams is a more unique case because people are saying he's the next Patrick Mahomes, right? So maybe this will never happen again. But I was a little worried, like, okay, we got these people coming in, feeling confident. Hey, man, I'll just stay back in college and get paid. And I'm like, all right. And now Caleb Williams is going as far as saying, man, I might not go to the draft. If it's true, I might not go to the draft unless I get a minority stake. Like, he's threatening these bad teams before he even enters the draft, which is kind of crazy in my opinion. That's why this upcoming draft is so weird because if we got this number one overall pick and we don't know if he's going to be that pick, then the tank for Caleb was for nothing, basically, unless someone really is going to give him that minority stake. And if he ends up not that generational talent, then that's even worse. Yeah. So, yeah, it's kind of crazy in my opinion.
I think we've seen players try to dictate where they're going before. John Elway did it in the 80s. Obviously, Eli Manning did it in the 2000s. So this isn't new. First of all, I don't even think it's like under the NFL bylaws. I don't even think that's legal. You can't even get while you're playing. I don't think they can give you an ownership stake in anything. The only person that I know was Patrick Mahomes. At that point, he won a Super Bowl and he got a stake in the Royals. I believe that's what he ended up getting.
Right.
So it's so crazy. I don't believe it's true. There's just no way. Like think about who all the teams are going to have a chance to really get him. The Patriots aren't doing it. The Bears aren't doing it. Who else?
Giants.
The Giants aren't doing it. Those are legacy. Okay, the Giants and Bears particularly, because those are legacy franchises. They're not doing it. So
Yeah.
you're not endearing yourself very well toward who your potential teammates are and also your potential opponents. They're going to want to kill you the same way Patrick Beverly felt some type of way about Lonzo Ball just stepping on the court when he first started playing. Like they're going to come after you, and you may be the next Patrick Mahomes, but look at everything that happened for Patrick Mahomes. He went to the right team, had the right coach, and the right players, and it all just worked out. And even still then, there was still some missteps along the way in terms of he just didn't get the right result in a playoff game or anything like that. So you to put a target on yourself like that, not just even in college, they're going to be NFL. They're going to be you still got to play Washington. You still got to play Oregon. Those players are like, what the hell? What is this? Like, you think about the NFL already? Like, it's not a good way to endear yourself, especially if Michael Penix still keeps playing the way he's playing. Don't jeopardize what you have. And that's what it seems like. If this is true, he's jeopardizing, which is crazy. You just can't come out and say that. That's so wild. I understand maybe you don't want to go to the Bears, but like, what if the Bears do come up and say, yeah, all right, we'll give you a 1% ownership stake. And then now you're just struggling with the Bears. Like, it just makes no sense. That there's no way that can be true. No.
I will say this though. The only reason why I think this is a little different from like the Eli Manning situation is because yes, Eli Manning didn't want to go to the Chargers. But at the very least, the Chargers were still able to get something from Eli. They got Phillip Rivers, regardless of what you want to hear with Phillip Rivers. And the difference for me is like, okay, if you declare and don't want to be on that team, okay, at least we can get something for you. But if you don't go to the draft at all, and then that first pick, what are you going to do with that first pick? It's like, okay,
maybe just go get Penix. You go get Penix.
Yeah, I was like, you got to just get someone else because that value that Caleb would have been.
And he can only do this once. He has to come out he has to come out next year, right, J-Rob? He has to come out.
Well, he could stay. I mean, he could stay in if he wanted to. He's only a true junior, so it's not like he have eligibility. Yeah, he can go play next year, bro.
He would be I'm just saying,
but he would be a fool though. He would be a fool to go out.
He'd be a fool to turn that.
Unless you go ahead to transfer,
if y'all remember,
go to Georgia or something, go to Alabama.
If y'all remember real quick, Sam Howell messed up his draft stock. Remember, if he came out, if I'm not mistaken, after his junior year, they had him as like a first rounder, and then he ended up going he had a bad senior year, and then he ended up dropping to
Matt Barkley is the ultimate example. The year before his junior year, he was the number 1 pick, and he decides to come back to go to USC, and then he plays bad, and he's drafted in the 6th round the next year. With the new NIL, I understand that gives players a lot of flexibility in terms of going to the draft or not, but I still think if you are a high pick in your junior year or maybe your redshirt sophomore year, just go to the league. Go to the league.
So
there's just too much bad side now if you come back and play again, especially if you're like a top flight or toply rated quarterback.
Real quick, because everything is alleged. Before this alleged ownership stake came out, I saw a report that said there were only 5 teams that he'd be okay being drafted to, and that was Dallas, New York, Vegas.
I saw that too.
Which is wild.
Niners and who was it? Dallas, New York, Raiders, and Vikings.
Yeah, that's
wild too.
49ers don't need them.
49ers obviously are not going to get, but that was the alleged.
No, I saw that report too.
Yeah, it was like he's only okay with going to 5 teams.
The amount of reports that
but there's been so many. They're all
you don't know what to believe.
Yeah, it's kind of at the very least, I think we kind of know that Caleb, if he doesn't like the team, he might not go, regardless of the extra stuff. If he doesn't like the team, he may not go, and that's very worrying for like a Bears team or a Giants team or a Patriots team.
Or a Broncos
Patriots
team.
Are hoping to get the number 1 pick right now.
Yeah. Or a Broncos team.
Nah, they'll straight up pick like Sam Hartman before
I feel like this is a case
watch.
of somebody got to be in Caleb's ear though, because he wasn't acting like this a year ago, and all of a sudden he just kind of it's like somebody got to be talking to him because he didn't start acting real big time on people. So I'm wondering where it's coming from.
He knows how valuable he is. He knows how valuable he is. He knows that he's literally the next one. He's still the cut above the rest right now in the QB draft class.
Press clippings.
No, I got you. I understand that early. I understand that. But
even Kanye, I'm just saying.
I'm gonna be honest with y'all. From my perspective, like I think this whole idea, like what people say and stuff like that, I think we put too much stake in that. If you're going out there and balling, I don't really care what everything you say. I mean, like, realistically, who cares about, like, I see a lot of stuff that talks about Caleb's attitude, and they're like, who does this guy think he is? And obviously, I think the minority equity stuff is a little crazy. It's a little crazy. It's a little much. But obviously, I think there won't be a more polarizing pre-draft interview press conference when the NFL draft comes around like Caleb Williams, for sure, because there will be so many questions to be asked. And let's be honest, he's not doing any drills at the combine. There's no reason for it. He won't be throwing. He will literally be there to interview with teams and to go up to the podium, where hopefully a lot of this stuff will potentially be cleared up. Overall, though, listen, I watched, and this is why I say we gotta start being really watching tape on other players when they do certain things. I think when some guys may be more polarizing than others, they get under a big microscope. Does anybody remember Joe Burrow's conversation on the Rich Eisen show and how confident he sounded? Some people almost thought it was a damn near a little bit arrogant.
What did he say?
Anybody have any problem? He just pretty much said, I'm pretty much confident in my ability to go into the league and be a good player. And pretty much said, do you have any doubts? And he was like,
well, he was coming off a national championship and a win over Alabama.
Okay, and bro won, and Caleb Williams is coming off a Heisman. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, he's a better prospect than Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow had 2 first-team All-Pros at wide receiver, a way better defense than what Caleb even has. So, if at the end of the day, the talents are.
Some people call that 2019 LSU team one of the greatest of all time.
That's one of the greatest teams of all time.
I'm sure like 9 players got
that team was easily one of the greatest teams ever. But ultimately,
Jefferson and Chase.
And Jefferson. He had
Jefferson, Joe Burrow.
He had Terrence Martin. He had Terrace Marshall. He had
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Randy Moss's son.
That whole roster was peak of NFL.
Patrick Queen was on this team. Like this is a loaded team. All I say is, listen, I don't care. I don't care about people's egos and how they carry themselves as long as you back it up. You know what I'm saying? Like some of that stuff
I'm
really
just saying
matter
that
to
with
me.
that target on his back, though, J-Ron could be detrimental. I pray for him.
Was there not a target on Joe? Was there not a target on Joe Burrow's back?
No, I don't think not as much. I think not only that, we got to be honest, man. Caleb is a black man in America playing quarterback.
That's a fact.
They finna give it to him.
That's a fact.
If he not good,
why do you think so many people are upset about Deion Sanders? He's a black man that oozes so much bravado and confidence that it rubs people.
I love what Deion's doing, bro. There's some haters on
most people
Deion,
are haters,
bro.
but it's not.
Come on.
That's beyond the point. I hear what you're saying early, but every black man don't have to tone it down to make other people uncomfortable. That's how I generally feel.
I'm not saying so.
And ultimately, and I understand he plays quarterback and he's a representation of an organization, but these organizations not going to give a damn if Caleb Williams is producing. Because if he's going out there and putting up numbers and they're going to playoffs and they have an opportunity to compete for NFC or AFC championships and Super Bowls, nobody's going to care that what he says, because listen, at the end of the day, this is also a kid that kid at Notre Dame who ran up on him talking about him getting his nails painted. If it was me, I would have broke his phone. I would have chucked his phone.
Yeah.
And if that was the reason I'll end up being the 5th overall pick in the NFL draft versus the 1, then I could live with that. You know what I'm saying? So, because that kid on any day, and people could say this is arrogant, but Caleb Williams is 100% right. That kid would trade his life or his experience in the world for Caleb Williams in a heartbeat. Absolutely. So that's a fact. So,
well, you said the key word. For me, I do think there's a difference between confidence and arrogance. Based on what you told me about Joe Burrow, it just sounded like he was really confident. If the allegations are true, saying that only 5 teams are allowed to draft me and I want a minority stake,
but this hasn't come out of his mouth. But this hasn't come out of his mouth. They say
that's what I'm saying.
The
allegation, it's
so
allegation.
I don't want it to be.
I'm hoping he's gonna be great.
Look like
a
smart young man. I think it's just steam.
Well, you never really could tell. I wouldn't go. But my question to you: next year, do you think something similar will happen with Shedeur?
I mean, people don't like the way Shedeur answers questions. You know, when he walked up, for example, when he walked up to the Arizona State student section and gave them the wristwatch, everybody was upset. You know what I'm saying? Everybody was like, "Oh my God, Why would he do that? This is a 1-5 team, whatever.
But
nobody mentions. But hold on. But nobody mentions the fact that the crowd was calling him overrated all game, or the stuff that they were saying to him throughout the game. It's not about being the same. It's about being competitors, bro. Like
it's because Shador Sanders has a bulletproof vest by the name of Deion Sanders.
Let's say Baker Mayfield.
His father gonna take all the shots for him. That's a different ball.
But what I'm saying is though, but that's not true though, because he has to go to the podium every single time, bro. He has to go to the podium every single time. He does media every week, bro.
Hold on, but here's the thing,
hold it down.
Remember against Kansas? Kansas, Baker Mayfield was grabbing his crotch at the Kansas players, and everyone said, "Oh, he's a fiery competitor."
The only person who said something was Colin Cowherd, but he has legitimately something against Baker Mayfield.
Like everyone's saying, but if Shador did that, forget it, bro. Like
they'd be killing him for real.
They'd be killing him, bro. They'd be destroying Shador if he did that, or if Caleb did that. But when Baker Mayfield did it, he's a fiery competitor. He can go and grab the flag and plant it on the midfield. That's nothing. He's just being passionate.
To be fair, the easiest example people can use is Tom Brady and how he talks to his players, and then you compare that to like if Jalen Hurts did the same thing. Shannon Sharp used to bring it up all the time because Tom Brady be dog cussing his players sometimes. And if Jalen Hurts did the same thing, people would not like it. Whether or not you want to agree with what Tom Brady has done and what Jalen Hurts has done.
Bro, I don't personally mind it, bro. I personally don't mind it.
Bro,
I ain't gonna lie. I'm not mad at it, though. You got to really understand, like, to be honest, to have the wherewithal to hold your teammates accountable when they're playing like crap, I don't think that's as big of a deal. Like, I understand it looks bad. I think people get upset. I think people get upset when it is seen like on camera. I think that'd be the biggest issue with it. But ultimately, I don't feel like it's a big deal because you got to hold people accountable. Like, you're trying to win games. Like, I think all players are fiery. Like, for example, I think people are a little too hard on Stefon Diggs. I don't think Stefon Diggs is a diva. I think Stefon Diggs wants to win football games because for him to be upset but still have 100 yards, 10 receptions, and a touchdown, most receivers ain't still fiery on the sideline with them stat lines. I'm good. I ate. So I think the fieriness is important, especially if you're trying to win. Like, you gotta get the juice out of your players. And so that's really my thoughts. You know what I'm saying? So
I agree with you. And that T.O. is so misunderstood for that. Terrell Owens is one of the most misunderstood football players, in my opinion, ever, bro. Like, yeah, was he the perfect guy on the sideline? Maybe.
My favorite guy.
He just cared, bro. When he got in between those white lines, bro, he played 100% every single snap.
I agree with you. I think the toughest part is it's like almost every team he left in kind of under dubious circumstances. He was never a really big fan of the media, especially like that's the reason why he wasn't a first ballot Hall of Famer. The media just didn't like him. You couldn't look at anything, his entire resume, and say he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Yeah, you just couldn't. But they did it because they didn't like him. Also,
pretty sure he's the only player to be.
It's only because he wasn't no winning teams like he should have been.
No, I agree with you.
He wasn't no worse than
what I mean? Like, how is he?
I agree with you. What's the one thing we
but Terrell Owens also wasn't really the greatest teammate as much as he was a great player.
Teammate.
Look, a lot of people come out and say how great he was.
What's going on, my joint today?
All I'm saying, J-Rod, like you were saying before, how it don't matter about feeling yourself as long as you going out and you balling. T.O. every time he stepped inside those white lines, he gave 110% every single time.
No, I agree.
Yeah, I understand that. I understand that. But if you also are ruining the morale of your football team, then there's a different conversation to be had. Because I don't think Stefon Diggs' outburst messes with the morale of the Buffalo Bills football team because of the fact that none of the Buffalo Bills players seem to be upset at Diggs when he does it. Also, the only thing I don't like about it is for the quarterback's perspective, he's always the guy who has to answer for it. But at the end of the day, that comes with the territory of being the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills.
The Eagles sent him home, Nick. The Eagles sent him home. Like, look, we're just done. And they sent him home and paid him the rest of his salary for that year. Then he was gone. They sent him home with games left in the season. Yeah. Like, you can't defend that.
But then Andy Reid calls his phone when he's with the Chiefs and says, "You think you can play?" Like, come on now.
That's
Andy
10 years. That's like 8 years later. What are we talking about?
Yeah, there are certain things we don't know.
Listen. Most people listen. I understand that, but bro, I'm gonna be honest. If you ask a bunch of them, if you ask them Eagles, listen, I'm close to that. I'm a closely sourced to that team back in the day. At the end of the day, T.O. was not a good teammate, bro. He definitely used to show up his own quarterback, who in the media could not show him up at all or be fired on for it. You know that. The quarterback can't show up his teammate, but the teammates can show up the quarterback. That's not good.
Because they were scrubs.
Hold on.
Big Nab was good.
They were scrubs.
Just because you're scrubs, early. Yes, he did.
They were scrubs. They were scrubs. Went to 5 NFC championships in the Super Bowl. So all right, scrubs though. At the end of the day,
them teams were loaded though.
That's not the point. Early,
well, you can't call them scrubs though. If you say they're
early. Look at what you're saying. Early. Look at what you're saying though. Early. Look at what you're saying. Okay. There's a reason why right now. Name a receiver on the Giants that's come out and talk mad mess about Daniel Jones. They're not, because you just don't do that. Just because you're good at your job, especially in football, does not mean you just come out there and talk mess about the guy who's distributing the ball, the guy who's most directly related to your success. He still needs to get the ball to you. You can't just talk bad about him like that. And it's not just here. He did it with McNabb. He did it with Jeff Garcia. Like, there are multiple times. Like, T.O. is not Lily White. Despite everything that he's done, he still should have been a first ballot Hall of Famer. But he's not Lily White.
He's definitely a first ballot Hall of Famer. But
absolutely should have been.
But most players are not going to have raving reviews about him as a teammate. At least from that Eagles.
J-Rob is right about that for sure.
But he's phenomenal.
I hate to say it.
Phenomenal talent.
But yeah,
hold it down for me real quick.
Yeah, J-Rob, keep it pushing. You definitely right.
No, I got to keep this going in. But let me set this topic. So I got to fix this real quick. But the next topic I want to talk about actually is this Thursday night preview. So obviously this Thursday night football game features the Saints and the Jaguars. I obviously starting with you, Shonen, and obviously lead the way. Thoughts and predictions and potential implications for the Saints. Like, are they not who people thought they were? So I'll throw it to you first, and then obviously we'll get through that.
Yeah, I mean, the Saints and the Jaguars, I had the Saints winning the division, and it seemed like they were on good track at the beginning of the season. But ever since Derek Carr got injured, that pass game has been terrible, even though, like, you have the weapons. Michael Thomas is not who he once was, but he's still a good receiver. Chris Olave is obviously a good deep threat. Shaheed is surprising a lot of people how good he is as a explosive player. And then you got Alvin Kamara back. So this team should be better than what they are, but the offense is not clicking and the defense is really good. So you kind of have everything. Derek Carr, maybe it's an injury or maybe it's the scheming. I don't know what it is, but this team should have everything they need to be good. And that's why I'm like this could be a big game to say that we're just not that team. And kind of similar to the Jaguars, who want to prove that I'm one of the elite teams at the same time. Because the Jaguars had a good defense, kind of similar, but that offense, despite having Trevor Lawrence, hasn't been clicking. And Travis Etienne has been cooking the last few weeks. So it'll be an interesting game. I think we're probably going to see, okay, who is really ready to be a playoff contender from these two teams? Well, Jaguars is Super Bowl or conference contender, and then Saints is playoff contender. So this would be an important game, in my opinion.
It is very sneaky important. I agree with a lot of what Riddell has said in terms of the Saints are a good team. They're a mid team. Maybe they could win a playoff game, but they're not going any further. But it did say something to me when the Bucs went in there and, in my opinion, kind of dominated them in New Orleans. And you can say whatever you want about the Bucs. That Bucs team is good. That Bucs team is very good. And for them to do that, especially in a place where the Bucs have historically struggled, even Tom Brady was barely 500 there when he was there. So that's what showed me. So looking at their schedule, they have a pretty easy schedule kind of going after this. So even if whether or not they win or lose to the Jags, they beat the Colts, especially with AR-15 out. But it's like I just don't have a reason to trust them. Maybe Grant can explain a little bit more. Derek Carr doesn't move me. He doesn't move me.
Should never move me
at all.
He should have never moved you.
Like the fact that Mookie was out here trying to say he's a top 10 quarterback was laughable. Even
that's bugged. That's bugged.
But now,
I think he was like 2 years ago.
Never.
No. Mind you, he is a good leader because I don't know how many quarterbacks could really go through what the Raiders went through with Henry Ruggs, David Arquette with his situation. I don't know how many people could just kind of keep playing through that in a way.
And that coach too. What's his name?
That coach too, John Gruden.
John Gruden
all that crazy
all
stuff.
that happened in one season, which is crazy. So to kind of switch over to the Jags have quietly found themselves in a 3-game win streak, including an impressive win over the Jags, even though I will probably throw a little bit of that London fatigue on there because they stayed and then the Bills flew to them. Quietly 4-2, 3-game win streak. And they beat the Saints. I legitimately think the Jags should beat the Saints. They're getting better. Calvin Ridley has definitely surpassed my expectations. They're being out for over a year, not playing any kind of football. So just let them keep building. Let them
his
keep
best
building.
Football is ahead of this.
His best football is ahead of him. Christian Kirk still a threat. Evan, what's the tight end's name?
Evan
Ingram. Evan Ingram is a nice. They got good pieces, and like Rodell said, ETN's being eaten. So just watch them. They just keep building. I still think their biggest threat is the Texans. Ironically, it's their biggest threat, and they already lost one. So that next game is going to be very big in terms of maybe who wins that division. Because with AR out, the Colts are out. I don't trust the Titans at all. No, they're out. They're out. They're out.
Ain't on Garner. Okay.
No, I like Gardner.
I just don't think
he's a backup quarterback for a reason. He's a backup quarterback for a reason.
He's a top 3 backup quarterback.
That's cool, but
he might be a
now
top
you're riding with
great backup.
If he cooks, I'll come back in here and apologize.
Okay, we'll see.
He did beat the Ravens. So
we'll see.
okay, you say he did beat the Ravens. Come on,
I got respect.
He cooked on that defense. He did.
Okay, let's go. I'm going back to look. Okay, I'm going back to look.
And he got Jonathan Taylor.
Gardner Minshew threw the ball 27 for 44, 227, and 1 touchdown. Zach Moss carried that team. He had 30 carries for 122 yards. Like it was also like mentioned this before. It was coaching like battle as well because Steichen showed off his thing, but then John Harbaugh showed off like his coaching acumen as well. And it just worked out. It just worked out for the Colts. Over the long run, I think Minshew is going to betray your expectations.
All right, Brandon, pass the sticks. We want to hear from the Saints fan. Come on, Brandon. Pass the sticks, man.
This is coming from the dude who interjects almost every goddamn sentence, but I'm wrong.
Right. They love it. Chat, appreciate you.
Yo, y'all are funny. Go ahead, Grant.
I think looking at this game, I think I can say from what I've seen, most of these teams I think they've been pretty underwhelming, at least in my eyes. I think the Saints, we had one of the most friendly opening schedules in the league, yet we're averaging under 20 points per game and are 3-2. On the other hand, Jaguars are also 3-2, but at times I feel like they're very poor on the offensive efficiency side, which is caused, I think, especially by their O-line issues. And I think also both teams have had crazy circumstances that led them to this point. With the Saints we've had a bunch of injuries, most notably Derek Carr's shoulder issue that continues to bug him. And the Jaguars, like I said, the previously offensive line issues. And I think both teams, they're close to returning to normal once they get a few more guys healthy into the system. On paper, I feel like this looks to be a matchup where both teams could score a lot. However, if you look a little bit deeper into the stats, the strengths of both teams basically lie into their ability to run the ball with ETN and Kamara. And I think that complicates things since both teams, I think they rank in the top 10 of the defensive rushing, where Jacksonville ranks 5th and the Saints rank 10th.
Mm-hmm.
I think both teams may have to drop back to pass more often, which giving a sizable edge to Jacksonville, given that they rank 11th in offensive passing, whereas the Saints rank 21st. So with that in mind, I think the Saints should be able to keep this game close. They return. Jamal Williams is back from IR, which should help Alvin Kamara to where he doesn't need to have all that heavy lifting in the game. In addition, Tyson Campbell's out at cornerback for the Jaguars, and I'm hoping for Chris Olave to have a solid game. He's been consistent this year. He has a touchdown of 85 plus receiving yards in 5 of his 6 games. So I think the defensive units of both these teams are pretty solid, but I think injuries to key areas of the secondaries have me worried that we get a total over this current number. But I think that game is going to be Saints 26, Jaguars 21. I think it's going to be close.
I'm mad at it.
The fun fact that before I forget, for those of you, the spread is over. Jaguars have not covered the spread against New Orleans in 24 years. So,
that is
such an
ESPN
stat.
Yeah, so I found that on ESPN for some reason. But I think the Saints. I think we need to win this one because we've been struggling lately. We've had 3 difficult losses back to back that have put us in a situation where it's like, I feel like if we lose again, it's another way because we lost 17. We blew a 17-0 lead at the half against Green Bay. Get dominated by Baker Mayfield and the Bucs, who are a solid team, and I think they're very, very good. Who I think they may win the division. And then we struggled in the red zone against Houston and turned the ball over twice. And when we had an opportunity to win the game, we choked again in the fourth quarter and cost on that red zone efficiency. I think if Derek Carr, I think that O-line is also, like I said, that's the biggest concern for me. They're awful. I don't like it. It's the reason why Derek Carr has been hurt because we can't block. And he has to, I think with Derek Carr, if you see when he takes the snap and he's in the pocket, he has about 2 seconds before he has a defender chasing after him. He doesn't have enough time to get the ball out. And I think if we're going to win this game tonight, we have to be able to not only run the ball with Alvin Kamara, but we have to be able to pass the ball in the red zone and be efficient on those red zone opportunities. Because if we collapse, I feel like Jacksonville's just going to take the ball, get down the field and score. And then it's going to be harder for us to pick it up.
Y'all should have a better short passing
game. To piggyback off
what
what you were saying, bro, Jacksonville, that was going to be my key, your offensive line tonight, because Jacksonville's bottom 3, if I'm not mistaken, in the league in pass defense. They're terrible defending the pass, but they can get after the quarterback. So if y'all can contain Josh Allen and give Derek Carr some times, Olave should have a big game tonight, in my opinion. I think Olave gonna eat tonight, low key.
Yeah.
Well, just to let you guys know here in a second. So Jamal Williams apparently is going to suit up tonight, but
what about Trevor Lawrence?
Landon Young
Trevor
is
Lawrence
out.
is playing.
Yeah, Landon Young is out. James Hurst is out. Ryan Ramczyk is out. Tyrann Mathieu questionable. Demario Davis is questionable. Juwan Johnson's out, and Trevor Lawrence apparently has a knee issue.
Demario Davis is playing. Tyrann Mathieu's out.
Tyrann Mathieu's out? Oh, that's kind of big.
I think Tyrann Mathieu's out. From what I heard, I think Tyrann Mathieu's out. I may be wrong, so I might have to confirm that.
I'm a Panthers
from what I'm
fan,
seeing.
I know y'all can laugh at me, but Demario Davis is low key one of the most underrated players in football.
He does not get enough. He does not get a lot of love.
He does not get enough respect,
bro.
Nick, man. Fellow Panthers fan too.
Don't say fellow.
Do not say fellow. You are prepared.
Maybe in a couple years.
Really quick,
I watched a lot of Demario Davis.
I know Early is Panthers fan. I don't know. I know.
Don't call Early a Panthers fan.
He's not a Panthers fan.
We can do a test. You can test.
Go across. Who's y'all's teams really quick before I forget? And chat. What's your team? And what's y'all's NFL team?
I don't have one.
Okay. Well, New York.
You ain't got one random. That's why you're random.
Patriots.
You're just a random guy speaking about random teams.
Okay.
New York Giants, but I
am the realistic.
I want him to be the GOAT. So,
but I go last thing, and we can talk. If someone else can talk. I think we got to win this game. If we lose this game, it's just another situation where we fail to convert on an opportunity. We can win these games. Like Random said, we have a leisurely schedule to play, and we can win these games. But if we struggle with the ball and we let Derek Carr get too beat up and he gets hurt to a situation where he's out for the season's done. Because then it was just we paid him all that money just for him to get hurt in the season.
Jameis Winston comes back. Early, what we talk about? Lonnie, what's up? You haven't said anything.
I'm gonna go quick because Random says I interject.
Go ahead, Early.
Unless you're betting on this game, honestly, or you ain't got nothing to do tonight, this is a mid game, and we all know it. I don't see the Jacksonville Jaguars, although I do have faith in Trevor Lawrence, his progression. I don't see them going nowhere. I don't see the Saints going anywhere. So this is one of these games. Just like it don't really matter. This is a game that's actually weird to be on a primetime television, set. So
Jaguars beat the Bills though.
Yeah. Anyway, everybody gets lucky twice. The rest was almost beat the Eagles. So again, this is one of them games
Commanders,
that for
bro,
me,
say the name right.
For me, it don't prove nothing other than the fact that if Trevor Lawrence plays good, it solidifies him being in my top 10. Go ahead, Lonnie.
Well, he's still hurt off that sprained knee, and it's going to be a short week, so I expect him to feed Intan a lot this week. Also, he's on my fantasy team, so I need them. I need them to feed him. But no, I think it's probably going to be a low-scoring, close game. But yeah, I think the D lines are going to be the deciding factor because I don't really trust any of either of their secondaries right now, especially if Matthew's out.
So yeah. All right.
He's the only player worth mentioning in the secondary.
He can't guard everybody the Jaguars got.
Yeah. So. As Tyrann Matthews healthy, make it out.
He's out.
I mean, he'll probably wind up with Calvin Ridley, but at the same time, Calvin Ridley's been inconsistent this year. So, but I think it'll be something like 16-9.
Jaguars. Thursday nights are so hit and miss in terms of offensive production. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Especially if Trevor Lawrence is hurt, he's gonna be dinking.
We saw the Bears.
So.
Yeah, this could be like a 17-10 game or 14.
I got 16-9. 16-9
Jaguars. If the Jaguars want to show up, they could definitely score. I think a big problem for both Jaguars and Saints is they don't really know what their offensive identity is. From what I've been seeing, they don't know who they want to be. Obviously, it started off with Calvin Ridley getting force-fed to an extent, not a lot, at the beginning of the season. And then they cooled down, and I was like, okay, we got to get Kirk involved. We got to get Ingram involved. We got to get the ball to Etienne. Who do we want to be? And you can kind of see that hesitancy from Trevor Lawrence. And the Saints, kind of similar, especially with Alvin Kamara coming back halfway through the season. Like, who are we? Do we want to be, feeding Michael Thomas, or do we want to go over the top with Shaheed and Chris Olave, or do we want to dominate with Alvin Kamara? We don't know.
Are you saying with Trevor Lawrence, are you saying that him having too many options is a problem for him right now?
Sometimes it seems he's unsure of what he wants to do when he drops back. Sometimes when I watch him, once he's sure, he starts letting it rip and it's just dime after dime. But they don't know, because Calvin Ridley is such an interesting piece. Because last year he was just Christian Kirk is my guy almost every play. Christian Kirk and me, one of the best duos last year. Now it's okay, I know I have to give Ridley the ball, but Christian Kirk still
Ridley's great though, man.
No, Ridley's great. He's
they have a very
he's like a poor man's
they're miscues.
Yeah, they have a very balanced passing attack because both Ridley, Kirk, and Everett Ingram are over 300 yards receiving for the season. We're talking 20 yards separating Kirk and Ridley right now. Mm-hmm. So they have a very balanced passing attack. They have weapons all over the field. If he's worried about getting certain people the ball, in a way he should be kind of past that. You just get whoever's open the ball.
Don't they have
you got talent over the field.
Don't they got Zay Jones too?
Who do you think is best?
Yeah, Zay Jones is there too.
Yeah. He's hurt though. He's out. He's hurt.
I forget who their other.
I think he has a knee injury
since they got rid of
Marvin Jones. I thought. Don't they got Marvin Jones?
No, he's still on the Jags. He's still on the Lions. They also have Agnew, who's a spark plug for them. I know he mainly returns kicks, but Agnew, if you get him the ball in space, he's a problem too.
Yeah, so. And then they got a backup running back with Tank Bigsby too. It's they have
have pieces. They should be more dominant than what they have been so far this season. But hopefully, I'm thinking hopefully we'll really get to see where they're at. I'm guessing by week 9, week 10, we'll see if they can actually be a powerhouse in the AFC.
I'm curious to see what their ranks are in terms of team stats. So I'm just gonna look them up right now.
Yeah, I mean, last year they started poorly in the beginning, and this year they're starting better in terms of record. They're 4-2 this year compared to last year. And then second half of last year they started turning up, made the playoffs, beat the Chargers, and then lost a hobbled Mahomes, but it was still a close game. So Jaguars definitely came to their own last year, and it could be a similar thing where it's okay, we got some new pieces. We might need to come to our own again. They could be just a second half of the year team. So we're going to see who Trevor Lawrence is, because he don't want to be a fraud. That's not good for his case.
He is.
I'm still this season waiting for Trevor Lawrence's on him.
Yeah,
game.
I said that.
I definitely don't think it's going to be this game.
It's going to happen.
I said that last night. I'm Gridiron. I said that I think I'm still waiting for Trevor Lawrence to have his breakout game. I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt because he's had a knee injury that's been affecting his ability with the ball. So I think I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt. But I feel like if he's able to play exceptionally well tonight, which I don't think this will be the game where he can do that, but I think in due time, I think he can have that breakout game once he's able to heal that injury and being able to play better.
Quick question for everyone, real quick. So, what is Trevor Lawrence? Is what in his third year, right? His third year.
Yeah.
How much, like, did that first year with Urban Meyer set him back, in your opinion?
I mean,
because it feels like he's going
tough.
through the struggles of what a second year quarterback is going through right now, right? They finally gave him some
that year was
weapons.
so crazy. There were so many distractions going on.
That's what I'm wondering.
Coach, like from the jump, then there was like Urban Meyer not flying back with the team, and like the comments he was making, like Trevor Lawrence, like for his first year, like how poised he was, like just dealing with a bunch of situations in itself was impressive. But it did set back like probably like his focus on like instead of being a player right away.
This thing, but after his first year, he's getting, mind you, he got a way better coach. But now you got to relearn a new system. You got to learn a new system, break all those bad habits you had from your first year. So especially J-Rob.
And now he has a new number one receiver that he has to adapt to too. So
J-Rob, I'm just wondering to see what do you think about that? How much do you think that first year held him back?
I mean,
if any at all.
I mean, listen, bro. I understand that it held him back. Obviously, I look at his first year and Justin Fields, like I would scrap both of theirs, like completely scrap them. Don't even really count them. Looking at damn near like a red shirt year for both of them, just because of the lack of a development and the debacles that they were completely dealing with from a front office standpoint. But I still am waiting for the Trevor Lawrence, I have arrived game. And I still feel like obviously the playoff game might have been that first one.
Yeah,
that might have been that one, but the thing is, you're supposed to capitalize off that with more of those. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people have him as a top 10 quarterback. I mean, listen, after the game, some people had him top 7. There was a big conversation, especially on this platform, about where Trevor Lawrence ranked among the NFL's elite. And listen, do I think he has all the talent in the world? 100%. But at the end of the day, I still want to see him be more dominant in games. It's almost like him and Herbert. I got like two like different. They're like I got like the opposite issue with each of them. You know what I'm saying? I don't even want to say issue. Like Trevor Lawrence will win games, but the way they win games, I really don't always think that may be conducive for down the line success. I've seen Justin Herbert dominate games in terms of like his passing numbers, but I still feel like there's still a level where he needs to play above his means in order for them to get the win. So it's like I like Trevor Lawrence. I like Trevor Lawrence a lot. But I am ready to see him like really take over a game. And I think this could be a perfect opportunity tonight actually to do that.
Justin Herbert turns the ball over when the game is on the line more than anyone in the league. I hope y'all know that.
Oh no, I call him.
I know that.
No. We talked about that.
Close either.
No, but what I'm saying is though, but he'll play the rest of the game. But prior to that mistake, the rest of the game, though,
his numbers are eye popping.
His numbers is crazy. He got 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, 27 to 35. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I want Justin Herbert to finish that performance. I want Trevor Lawrence to give me that performance in a win. You know what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? Yeah. So
I definitely.
Yeah, I need a game from him where it's like from start to finish, no matter what, you're not beating him tonight. Like that's the type of performance because he has.
I just feel like a lot of his games. I can't hear you early. What you got for us?
I can't hear him. Can you guys hear him?
I can't hear him
either. I was gonna say something real spicy.
Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say I'd rather take Trevor Lawrence, and right now, if I was a franchise, I'd rather have him over Justin Herbert.
I agree. It's not even spicy.
That's a hot take. That's a hot take.
To let you guys know real quick,
Trevor Lawrence is not better than him right now. He's not better than Justin.
He's not better than Justin.
No, he's not better than Justin. He's not better. Listen,
Riddell, he's not better than Justin.
No, he's not better, bro.
He's not better than Justin.
Where's the Lamar Jackson?
Don't be like Mookie. Don't be like Mookie. Stop it.
Nah, he's
picking hairs. It's not even crazy.
Who's the Lamar Jackson hater? Is he in?
No, he's not here.
No, he's
No,
not.
Well,
man,
early
I wish he
was.
was here.
Early was.
But
Early. Let me ask you this, because we gotta go. Y'all gotta go soon, because I got an interview I gotta do. Literally same channel. Question mark is the question mark. The question for you is, who's better between Herbert and Trevor Lawrence? I still say it's Justin Herbert. I don't think this is a conversation.
To be honest,
Like,
Justin Herbert is better than Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, he is.
Your
He is.
ranking had Herbert out the top 10, and you had Lawrence number 10.
I know. I said to be honest. I'm not trolling.
Oh,
now.
so your whole list was a fraud. Oh,
No.
He be see what I'm saying? He pretty much admits I do be trolling.
Trolling about Justin Herbert, but the thing about it is, when people like Mookie who exist, and there's a lot of Mookies out there that really believe in this guy because he's 6'6" with blonde hair and can throw the ball really good. No, I'm serious, bro. It's the way he looks. It's really the way he looks. It's very similar to Trevor Lawrence, but I feel like what Trevor Lawrence showed me in college, I know it's going to translate eventually, and I do believe that Justin Herbert is one of them guys who.
Did you watch Justin Herbert in college?
Yeah, he was pretty magical in that Rose Bowl.
Yeah, he was pretty magical, but Trevor Lawrence is more magical. So I believe that.
That's actually not true. That's actually not true. Trevor Lawrence in outside of the year they won the Natty, he got outplayed by Justin Fields in 2 playoff games.
That is true. He got outplayed by him in the Fiesta Bowl playoff. If
Both times.
Go back and watch
games. The tape. Chris Olave ran the wrong route. It was a wrong route on miscommunication, but they probably would have scored. Justin Fields outplayed him 2 times in a row. And in the rematch, 6 touchdowns on his head, and it was a blowout.
Oh yeah,
he probably would outplay Herbert too, though. So it's like, what are we saying?
Exactly. I'm glad somebody said it. I don't know how we got Justin Fields, but I root for Trevor Lawrence more. Maybe if people didn't cite Justin Herbert so much, and his stats wasn't so empty with that 27-27, maybe I would have more love for him. But he's just one of them guys. Like, y'all gonna keep putting him on a certain pedestal. And he gonna disappoint y'all. Gotta keep doing.
But Shonen, before y'all head out, I gotta ask you a real question. Why do you have Trevor Lawrence over Justin Herbert? Like, be for real about that. And then Nick, you can follow up because we gotta wrap up.
I don't right now, based off everything, I don't have Lawrence over. I say they're the same tier, though. I stand by that part. I think that the what you said about Lawrence and Herbert, like what Herbert does versus what Lawrence does, I value the clutch gene. I value, okay, I know I've been playing, but I'm about to win this game. That's like a big marker for me. So when I see someone constantly choking the game, it puts a bad taste in my mouth. I'm like, even if you have 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. If it's a tie game, how much do I trust you to win the game? And that's why
Justin Herbert's more like a front runner.
So here's my thing with Justin Herbert.
Hold on, Nick. Last point, and then I gotta wrap it up.
I'm gonna hit y'all with one stat on Justin Herbert. Since Justin Herbert has entered the league, he has thrown 13 interceptions in the 4th quarter of 1-possession games.
I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it.
But
listen, I'm not mad at it. Before y'all go first, I just want to say thank y'all for coming on for the show.
Much love.
Make sure for those who are in here, we got 110, 112 in here. Make sure y'all stay tuned because we got a great interview coming in. One of my guests is already here. But I do want to pump the brakes. I understand that Justin Herbert has the most interceptions in 1-score games going into the 4th quarter. But however,
no, in the 4th quarter.
In the 4th quarter.
Games. Yeah.
I understand that. But I look at Trevor Lawrence, and you have to admit, outside of that back 6 games of his career last year, I haven't seen too many Trevor Lawrence master classes altogether. And that has to be in some sort of way a consideration. And I understand we were hard on Justin Herbert for the way that he has performed in late game situations, but Trevor Lawrence has not been in the same amount of late game situations as he's been, because he's been doing it since his rookie year in the league. And we obviously know what Trevor Lawrence's rookie year in this league was. So I'm trying to throw him a bone because I think it's a bit unfair for me to at least say that Trevor Lawrence is better than him when Justin Herbert has clearly shown all the capabilities. I think we got to still be a little more realistic in that regard.
Justin Herbert's also had way better weapons than.
If I'm ranking quarterbacks based off this season alone, I put Justin Herbert over Trevor Lawrence.
And I think Justin Herbert
he's just
right
a better quarterback.
I think
he's just a better
it's
quarterback.
just he's a better quarterback. I think
Herbert's better, but honestly, I would prefer Trevor Lawrence on my team right now.
To be frank, I would rank him higher. It's just he got hurt, and that's been affecting him. And I feel like if he's able to get over the knee injury and he plays at a very consistent level like he does in college, then maybe I can see that consistency. But right now, I don't.
All right. All right, fellas. I just want to say I appreciate y'all for coming on.
Much
love.
We'll see y'all later.
Who that nation? Please win tonight. Stand by suffering.
Go Huskies, man. Y'all be
Who
good.
that
Y'all
nation? Please don't.
Yep.
Peace, y'all. See y'all later. All right, y'all. Fellas, what's good, y'all? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's good? What's good? Taquan, you hear me?
What's up?
Y'all hear me? Everybody good? All right, cool. What's up, fellas? I'm excited to get y'all up here. For the chat who don't know, obviously we are switching it over to By Any Means. Obviously, for those who not watch By Any Means, it's the show in which I interview a slew of different athletes in the college football, professional space, or even sports media. Today, I'm really excited. As y'all can see, I got my UConn Huskies gear on because I got two of UConn Huskies' finest, Taquan Roberson and Justin Joly. Welcome to the show, fellas. I'm really glad to have y'all on here. How are y'all doing?
It was good to be back, man. Good, bro. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Justin, I'm glad to have you back as well. I just want to say, fellas, it means a lot. You got Husky Nation in the building. They went crazy on Twitter when I told them that we was doing this. So they're 100% tuned in on this. The first question I want to ask both of y'all is, obviously, Justin, you talked about being a leader at a young age last year as a freshman. Taquan, my question, obviously, as the starting quarterback of the team this year, what is both of y'all roles as leaders on this team, and really, what are y'all leadership styles like? So one of y'all can go ahead and lead that conversation off.
I'll go first. I would say that I've grown to like I'm not someone who's supposed to have like a bad body language, because there's people that look at me and be like, how does he feel about this? I have to like reflect a good spirit at all times, and I feel like that's true. Like, it is what it is, but I know I don't like being the center of attention, but the media make it look that way for real.
Yeah.
But, but that's how it is.
What about you, Taquan?
Can you can repeat your question? I was lagging out a little bit.
No, you're good. I was asking, so obviously y'all both are leaders on your team, and I just want to know, for you personally, what would you say your leadership style is like, and how do you go about leading this team?
For me, I'm more of a lead by example guy, but like as the quarterback, it comes a time where I got to speak up and I got to step up, call a team in a huddle, and say if practice not going the way we want it to be or the way we know it should. Mm-hmm. I just it's up to me to say something, because the young guys and actually the whole offense and the team look up to me.
Right. I love that. So obviously there's been a bit of a rocky start. Definitely some unlucky ones along the way. What has been the message by Jim Mora in the locker room to keep the morale high, to keep you guys energized? And how have you both stayed focused through this as well?
Want me to go first, Jeff?
Yeah, you got it.
All right. So for Coach Mora, the message never changed. I mean, like all the games we played, we were in, mm-hmm. and it just to speak on the offensive side of the ball, it was just just simple execution. Like week by week, we knew we were in a game. We knew it was a play here or a play there that if we would have made, we would have been in the game and possibly won the game. So, we just had to keep seeing it through, and just wanted to see the light at the end of the tunnel, honestly. And yeah,
I like that, Justin.
Yeah, well, Coach, he keeps on preaching like no heads down. Like Taquan just said, like no matter what, we always were like one play off, one touchdown off, one field goal, unfortunately. But we got to keep on thriving and working in our own environment. I know we're the only ones that really like care about us for real, because it's 100 and some people that's in the facility every single day putting that work in. They don't understand. I know it doesn't look good on the exterior sometimes, but on the interior, just know that we're doing our best.
I love that. Keep that energy. So, Taquan, obviously, I want to start with you. You've put the UConn world on notice. I mean, fans have been buzzing about your play. Obviously, I think for a guy like you and your demeanor, I don't think what you've done out there really surprises you. I think these are like expectations. But just to put it in perspective, you're the first quarterback at the University of Connecticut since the year 2000 to, in back-to-back games, complete over 70% of their passes and throw for at least 2 touchdowns. Last year, you missed the year with a knee injury, pretty much taking that year away from you. And for a lot of players, it is hard to come back and find success and get your groove back. Talk to me about your preparation and what you took away from last year heading into this year. And when the moment was called for you to be the leader of this team, how have you taken that into the year and how have you performed at the level you have?
One thing I can tell you is that just being away from the game and having the game taken away from me for my first time in my let me say 15 years or so playing football, it was really challenging. So the biggest thing I took from that was just like appreciating the game and just never taking anything for granted, because you never know when your last play. So like last year, my last play of the season was in the second drive of the first game. So it allowed me to know just to sit back and reflect and see what type of man I could become off the field. What's going to get me through this injuries and how I want to approach it. So being able to come back with my team, it was an unbelievable feeling to finally step on the field and show what I can do. Was just huge for me and also for the team. But like you spoke on like the accolades and stuff. I mean, I appreciate all of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
At the end of the day, I'm just trying to get another win and W call for my team, and whatever I got to do that. I'm gonna put my all on the field to do it.
I love that. I love to hear that, man, and keep pushing it. Keep pushing it. Justin, since we last spoke, you look a little bigger on camera since the last time, so you look like your traps got a little bigger. What did you add into your game in the off season compared to when I first spoke to you? And what's the biggest difference you think from an experience on the field from your freshman year to your sophomore year?
Oh, so I'm gonna start with field first. I feel like my freshman year they knew to key me out on like third downs because it was like if I was in, it was a pass play. But this year for sure it's like different. I put on weight. I got my hands better. I got my feet better. And it's like you really can't tell if I'm in on a run or block no more. So it's like you have to play with your real key defense. You can't like try to put a corner on me because then we could run a run play. But you try to linebacker on me, it's a pass play. So it's just like just trying to choose those mismatches. And then I would say that my sophomore year, obviously, it's like it might not be going as well as we wanted to, but we picking it back up because that's what we do. I got Stefon right here. That's QB. You see, he just changed his number to 1, right?
Yeah.
That's TR1 right there. He don't do what he got to do for real. So as long as I got him by my side, and I got all my wide receivers, linemen, running backs, tight ends, we're gonna be straight.
So obviously, Taquan doesn't like to talk about himself much. That is obviously when it comes with quarterbacks. They got to be the face of the franchise. So Justin, I'm gonna ask you, for those who don't know Taquan as a quarterback, what is he like to be? What is he like in a huddle, and what is he like as a teammate from the outside looking in?
As a teammate, let me see how I can word this. Nah, I'm messing with you. He's a great leader. Actually, like I feel like he's older, so he's had like a good amount of experience in the game, and like his mindset when it comes to things, instead of like getting frustrated, he'll like talk it out. Sometimes I'll be getting frustrated on plays. He'll be like, "Yo, we good, chill." He calms me down a lot. And as a player, man, he's motivational. It's like playing with like Captain America, Optimus Prime. Like he always know what to say in the huddle. Like he always looks at us just like it feels like a movie scene or something. Like Remember the Titans. And just playing with him, man. He gets me better every time I'm on the field with him.
So Taquan, tell me about your even keel nature. Seem like a guy who doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. Where does that come from? Is that something the way you was raised, or did you develop that maybe in high school, college? Where do you think that comes from?
I definitely say definitely how I was raised. My dad, huge on discipline, and like, so when I was younger, obviously I had a lot of success in Little League, middle school, high school. And, it's just, his biggest thing was just never look out on the outside world, never look at social media. You know what I mean? I mean, look on it, but never get too big, never get too down. It was a time in my career when I played in a game and I had a bad game, and it was people talking down on me.
Right.
And obviously it's been times when I had success, and just keeping an even kill was huge at playing a quarterback position, because I mean, shoot, you can go out, you could throw 3 touchdown passes, then you could throw a pick, but it's all about how you gonna bounce back on that next drive from that pick. That's what's going to determine the outcome of the game. So I feel like keeping an even kill is huge.
I love that. So there's a lot of players, I think, on this UConn football team who don't get a lot of love nationally. I think you two, obviously. Haynes doesn't get enough love. But another player that I'm thinking about, Rosa, doesn't get enough love, I think, nationally. But another player on your team is, we talk a lot about Travis Hunter. He gets a lot of attention for his ability to play on both sides of the ball. However, on your own team, Jelani Stafford has been another bright spot on his team. Defensive tackle, tight end, H-back hybrid for you guys as well. He has rushing touchdowns, receptions, and then obviously he's still moving people on the defensive line. Talk to me about a guy like him, and obviously on the offensive end, what was the conversation to say, let's use Jelani in packages on the offensive end so he can give us a spark as well? And what type of teammate is he?
So to start off with just like how he got in the position he was in to play offense, he played running back in high school. So like he played running back in high school. All season he's squatting 600 pounds. It was like even last year it was some point when they was talking about put him at running back because we had a lot of running back injuries. So this year we finally gave it a shot, and we used him. I forgot. I think it was the FIU game for the first time, and it's been up from there. So just having him in an offensive huddle is huge, because we know at the end of the day he's about to put the team on his back when he carried the rock. I'm super excited for him. Dominating on the defensive side and having rushing touchdown, rushing yards, receptions. He's doing stuff that a lot of D linemen or a lot of college football players, period, they can't say they've done before. So.
Right. What about you, Justin? Your thoughts on Jelani?
I love Lonnie. I said it in an interview after Rice. He's a great teammate, and obviously doesn't get the national love. I think he should get. He played both sides of the ball and act like it's nothing.
Right.
But he's uplifting. He's a very hype teammate. He is very serious, but all around person, man. I love being around him. He's really a great person. The way you see him smile off and on the field is that's how you see him all the time.
I love that. He's been really fun to watch this year. One of the real more exciting players to watch this season. And I think if you don't know the name Jelani Stafford, for those who don't know, make sure y'all tap in. UConn has a game this weekend. Speaking of this week's game, we host USF this weekend. For you guys coming off a bye week, what are your keys to victory this weekend? How do you take what you learned from your previous win from the bye week to take into this game against USF? Justin, we'll start with you.
Okay. For sure. We, obviously coming off a bye week, I feel like everyone might be slow, but you'll be surprised the way that we run it in practice. We going as hard as we can. If we do have a bad play, we're gonna redo it and we're gonna get it right the next time. But watching film, seeing the way their defense plays, just going into it, and then also not worrying about the win itself, but how or what we need to get to the win.
I like that. Taquan?
Basically, for us, it's just, execution. We know that the defense is going to have our back, and it's going to come in time in the game when we need to have their back. So just basically executing and, just doing whatever we got to do to keep the defense on their toes. And I feel like it's just execution. It's been execution the whole year. When we execute, it's very obvious what we can do. So that's the main key.
So I obviously put out on Twitter that I'll be interviewing you too. So I got 3 fan specific questions. I got DM personally to ask you these questions, but they're actually some pretty good questions. They're actually great. So one question was for Taquan specifically, what was it about the jersey change? Was there some sort of story behind it or inspiration why you wanted to go change your number to 1?
Yeah. So I've been wearing number 1 for my whole life. I wear it for my mom who passed away when I was 4. Right. So I've been wearing the number the whole year. I mean, not the whole year, my whole life. From Little League, middle school, high school. I didn't get to get it at my previous school because they only handed it out to a senior, and they handed out only one number 1. Right. So when I got here, I wanted it, but obviously we had a receiver who wore it. This year we had a running back who wore it. So when it became available, I was like, I got to take it. Right. That's my number. She's a huge reason why I play the game and who I play the game for. So yeah, that's the reason.
I love that. I love that a lot. So Justin, one of the questions I have for you specifically, they asked listen, I'm going to word it the right way because it needs to be politically stated correctly. Obviously, the question is, are you doing anything for NIL currently in stores? And is there anything that people could be on the lookout that you're being part of from an NIL standpoint?
Yeah, so I got a good deal up here with a great food place called Gansett Wraps, and like, me, like I gotta gain weight, so I was there almost every day in the summer, just eating, and it's like they're a great place. The manager, the boss is amazing. Like, they're great people.
And so the final question before I let you go, first thing I want to say is I appreciate both of you for coming on this platform. I love chopping it up with you guys. I love checking in with you guys too. I'm hoping to get to a game in November. Hopefully you can see you guys in person. We can chop it up then. My last question for you guys is, from a fan, Cooper Flagg, obviously there's been a lot of talk about him potentially going to UConn. I think he's down at Duke, and UConn has his final 2. The question is, if you could sell an athlete, not just Cooper Flagg, on coming to the University of Connecticut to play athletics, what would be your pitch to them?
Natty. I mean, what else do you want to do? Like, honestly, as a college football player, like that's in every sport. Who wouldn't want to win a natty? And the basketball team, shout out them, they won it last year. So it's like, what else? Like, what else are you asking for as a recruit, honestly?
Right. I love that. What about you, Justin?
Yeah, I agree. Natty in the league, like we got Huskies all over the league, everywhere.
Right.
From NBA, someone overseas, man. But like, still, like, you gonna leave with a legacy every time you play for UConn basketball, no matter if it's a men's or women's. And we're gonna put on a show. So when you come out to the UConn football games and y'all get recognized, be like, okay.
I like that. I like that. No, I like that. That's a great answer. On the way out, what is your dairy bar order? To Quan, go.
I'm a original classic guy, so I'm gonna go with the cookies and cream, or the Oreo, or I'm a vanilla guy. I'm simple.
I like it. I'm literally the same way. I'm either cookies and cream or vanilla. What about you, Justin? Give me your dairy bar order for those who don't know.
For me, for milkshakes, I go salted caramel, and then for like ice cream, I know it's a very underrated flavor, but I like strawberry.
No, that's definitely a good flavor. Well, fellas, I appreciate y'all coming on. It has meant a lot to the fans that watch. Thank you so much for tuning in. Listen, fellas, I'll be rooting for you guys this weekend, and I'm proud of you both for all y'all success, and keep making UConn fans proud and keep pushing the envelope, fellas. Y'all doing great things, and we'll talk again soon. Y'all have a good rest of y'all week.
I appreciate it, J-Rock.
Of course.
Right,
Yes, sir.
Thanks for having me, man.